Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Hard 100, the video series documenting the culling of my collection from what it is to what it is going to be, and that is a Hard 100 games. Recently, I have been finally playing some old games that I have just not gotten around to. Sometimes they are really good and sometimes they are not. This game takes a theme that I absolutely love. I am a big fan of horror movies. I made a video about the best horror movies ever that like 3 people watched, and I love slasher movies. My favorite slasher is Jason Voorhees. I know there's the Freddys and the Mikes and the Myers and the whatevers, but I really like Jason. Something about that mask and the machete and just the overall unstoppable force that he is. And this has been taken into a lot of games. There's a game called Last Friday that has used this. There is the one with the bear at the campgrounds. I don't know. But the slasher genre has yet to really find a game that is able to implement it into a board game and do something that really makes you feel like you're in that scenario. And I'm proud to tell America, that Crimson Creek is not that game. Crimson Creek, a Historian Enterprise game by Andrew Scott, illustrator Marco Chaiu. Good job, Marco. Is a game in which you and a handful of players are trying to relive your time at Crimson Creek, aka not Crystal Lake. What this has you doing is on your turn, you are going to be doing a handful of actions. You're going to be running and hiding and seeking and peeking. To what end, you ask? You are trying to find the lair of the bad guy. The Jason in this game is Klein. You're trying to find his lair through a process of elimination and deduction. So on your turn, you can peek and you can look at a card where there's a whole bunch of cards and sleeves. Let's say, for example, you're in a cabin, you can peek out the window and then you look in the window card and you see, oh, this is not his lair. It's kind of like Clue. So you're taking a process of elimination. Or you can search for secrets in which you draw from a deck. There's 4 cards, 3 of them are blank, one of them has a handprint on it, and you're like, oh, I found a clue, and you look at one of the 2 clues. The clues can be anything from torn jeans to muddy pants to piercings to glasses, and all of the clues apply to the people around the table, the characters that you play. So if I have piercings and glasses, I might be this character. If I have muddy shoes and torn pants, I might be this character. But more than one character has torn pants, and more than one character has glasses. So if I look at one clue, oh, it's either this person or this person, or this person, this person. So the goal of the game is to win, and the way you win is by surviving. If at the end of the game the survivors are survived and they have deduced by just looking at 2 fucking cards over the course of 3 rounds, they make a case and everyone puts their token on who they think Klein the killer is, because it might even be you. And then Klein wins if everyone dies. This game lets you do a couple of things on your turn. Like I said, you can run, which you move from one location to another. You can peek, you can search, and sometimes some of the things you do will cause exposure or noise, and you move with this little track, and at the end of everyone's turn, you flip a card, and it will either be a quiet knight or a hatchet symbol. And if there's a hatchet symbol, no big deal. But if there's 3, then Klein attacks, at which point you flip over the reveal deck, and it will correspond to one of the pouches that has a card in it. Hopefully you looked at it so you know where not to be. And at that point, everyone can make a decision to stay where they are or run. You also have the choice to get hiding places at the beginning of the game. So let's say he attacks the cabin, you can hide under the bed, but then you get scared, you can't hide until you're unscared. And the round wins when someone has found Klein's lair, in which you stand on a space and go, this is his lair. Then you look at it. If you're right, you win that round. If not, then you die and you're eliminated for the entire game that goes a long time. Or if at the end of the 3rd attack, because after every attack, you add another hatchet card so the attacks are more frequent, which amps up the tension. At the end of 3 attacks, he basically attacks everywhere that isn't his lair, and good the fuck luck. This is not going to be a positive video. The best thing that Crimson Creek does is the theme. I love the Crimson Creek theme. I love that, oh, you're the geek or the whatever, you're the bam. I had, let's say, 3 problems with the game. Thing number 1, player elimination. Player elimination is fine in a game that is very, very quick. Let's say you have a game like Walk the Plank. Walk the Plank is 10, 15, 20 minutes tops. And if you get eliminated, you're getting eliminated at minute 15 and you sit there for 5 minutes and you can laugh and have a good time. There are other games that have player elimination. That's fine. Let's say a game like, I don't even know if that's right. It's getting harder and harder to think of games with player elimination because very, very quickly, game designers realized that when you die in a game, it's not fun watching your friends have fun without you. So even in like the Lovecraft Fantasy Flight games, when you die or go mad, unless it's the end game, you just come right back as someone else. And oh, where's the tension in that? Well, where's the fun in not that? So in a game, let's do some housekeeping. We're all over the place. 2 to 6 players, 13 plus for age. Yeah, okay. For the 2 to 6 players, we played it with 4 players, and then 30 to 90 goddamn minutes. So let's say I die very early in the game, and then I get to watch my friends have fun for another hour without me. The fun that they're having is negligible, but they're having fun. This is reminiscent of a game of Zombicide that I played, in which I very miscalculated the type of game that it was. In a game that has me playing pretend Danny Trejo in Machete, I thought I could backflip into a bunch of zombies and kill them all because I thought that's the kind of game that it was. It was not. I got dead, and then I watched my friends have fun for 2 hours without me. So early player elimination is fucked, especially with that large play time. If you're gonna have player elimination in your game, I recommend A, fucking don't. Or B, make sure that the time between you are eliminated and the time that you are back in the game is minimal. That's not Lemonade. You got knocked out in the first turn, but you know what? You're back playing again in like a minute, so it's not a big deal. Thing number 2 that I don't like about this game is Klein. Not the character Klein necessarily, but in this game, you are trying to deduce 2 things. You are trying to deduce the lair and where it is, and you are trying to find out the identity of Klein. Because at the end of the game, if you are Klein, which you don't know unless you find out, because it's never revealed at any point until the very end of the game, there is nothing I benefit from knowing about who Klein is, other than maybe who I can and can't trust around the table to give me information. I found out who Klein was in the first act, but what the fuck am I gonna do with this information? It gives me no bonus. There's no reason to know who Klein is. Even if you are Klein, you have no reason to lie to them because there's fucking nothing that you can do to stop him, or when you are him, there's nothing you can do to really hurt the other players other than give misinformation. And that's only if you are actively being like, wanna share some information? But if you're being overly aggressive with the sharing, And thing number 3 I have that is wrong with this game is simply table talk. This game, like another game that I have played recently that says no table talk. So if it's a co-op game or a semi-co-op game or a deduction game, a social deduction game, those games live and die on their table talk. The way that we can have a conversation and kind of spread misinformation. So in a game like The Resistance, if I'm being like, oh, are you the spy? Am I the spy? Blah, 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 whatever. But then in a game like Hanabi, you can't have that table talk. But that's built in with the mechanics of the game and the tension. As much as I hate that game, it has to be a part of the game. Because the game is the table talk. It's talking around the table, but it's not the, oh, you have this, you have this. In a co-op game, there was a game called Arkham Ritual, where you're not allowed to talk at the table. So the only time I can give you information is when we search and I show you these things on these little fucking iCloud collage card. But am I telling you what you want to know, what you don't want to know? Am I lying? Who knows? There's no table talk here. And it kills the game. Because I can be like, oh, I looked at a clue, I'm like, oh, that's a piercing. But I can't tell you that. I could be lying, I could be telling the truth. Who the fuck knows? So there's just no table talk, and it's just boring to sit silently at a table being like, I will do the peek action. I have officially peaked. I haven't even begun to peak. I'm a 5-star man. I've been doing this for almost a year now. And I have not said positive things about every game that I have looked at. There are 2 games that come to mind right now that I was not positive on. Sailing Towards Osiris, I complained about the size of the box and a couple of other things. And the designer, the worst thing he ever said was, it's the same size as the Stone Age box. Okay, well, where's my leather cup? That's not Lemonade. I straight up was like, this isn't a game. But even the person who made that was like, hey, you know what? Thanks for the criticism. Thanks for the playing. Thanks for playing. I'm glad you at least played it. Have a good day. The internet's a fun place, isn't it? Board Game Geek is usually a place of positivity. It's not usually a negative place. It's not a place of really hardcore disagreement and anger. It's not the YouTube comment section. It's not Reddit. It's not Twitter. It's not any of that. It's Board Game Geek. We're all gamers. We all talk to each other. We all generally like the same things. But when you design a game and someone has a criticism of it, and you take that criticism personally because you think they're stupid or wrong, that doesn't make you look good. What I have done now is I have linked a thread to this game in the description that is going to tell you more about this game than I ever could. It is the designer of the game defending the lack of randomness in this game. Here is the situation that we have. You have 6 players around the table. 3 turns have gone by and we have drawn 3 hatchets. We will draw a card to reveal. Everyone has an opportunity to flee to another place. And then we reveal the card, and then if you are on that location, then you are murdered and you get to spend the next 90 minutes doing fuck all. The designer swears that there is no randomness, and if you are good at his game, then you can win. The designer then goes on to say, there are ways to play this game that no matter how you play, you will definitely win. And he goes through all of these advanced deduction techniques and things like that. And there is a term called reading the room, in which case, if I'm gonna sit down to a Uwe Rosenberg game, I know that my math brain needs to be on, because we's about to get crunchy, y'all. But when I sit down to a game that has a theme based on 80s slasher flicks, my advanced deduction and reasoning mode of my brain is not clicked on. It's not being like, oh, okay. There's a game I think called The Alchemist that has some really fucking advanced deduction and figuring stuff out, a very big logic puzzle. But when I'm sitting down to that, that's the part of my brain that I'm activating because I know what I'm in for. I'm not saying that these types of games can't be smart and well done and intellectual, but to talk down to someone because they sat down to have a good popcorn game with their friends and then they died 4 turns in and be like, well, that, I don't feel like there was anything I could have done to stop that. And you behind them were being like, haha, yes, you could have played my game better because you're so fucking dumb. Well, okay, but it's my first time playing, and based on this experience that I've had, I don't ever want to play it again. So here's the deal. So you have 6 players. At the end of the 3rd turn, Klein will attack and then he flips. And then based on the limited information you have, if you happen to be on the one that he flips, because you have no information, there's no table talk, the only way we can discuss is if I go to your tile and show you information, or you can follow where the other people are running to, and if they're running away, you know not to go where they are. But there's also a 2 stack rule, where if there are 2 people on a card, then you can't go there. So there may be times when you, by no fault of your own, by the random luck-based deck draw, because that's where you put your people, by that random luck-based scenario and putting the supporting cast, which are like gravediggers and deputies and just other random things that are just there to clog up the board, based on that, you could die before your turn by no fault of your own. You could be the smartest fucker on the planet. You could be this game designer, I believe, and the 6th player, and with bad luck, you're out for the next 90 minutes. The game designer then goes on to tell people they are flat out wrong. In this thread that you're going to see, there are people who are giving very valid, well thought out arguments. And his response basically boils down to, nuh-uh. And the best part is, and I quote, I am sorry this game is too complicated for you. Even if the game was great. If you are going into making a game with that attitude, fuck off. I don't do this I don't play games to be told how to play games. I sit down at a game, and there are multiple ways to play games. There are point salad games where like, oh, I'm gonna go this way. Oh, I'm gonna go this way. Oh, I'm gonna go full tech tree. I'm gonna go full civilization. I'm gonna go full this way. There are learning games. There are all kinds of things that are like, oh, maybe I'll try this time. Maybe I'll try this time. But this game here, Crimson Creek, not only are you out of my hard 100, I don't think you can find this game anymore, and good. A semi-cooperative horror deduction game. No, this game is poorly designed, because fuck off. If you like this game, fantastic, awesome, I'm happy for you. Play the game, enjoy the game, have fun with it, because that's what games are about, having fun. But when I can't have fun because something in your game took away my turn before I even got it, oh, but you can move before the card is flipped, and this other, well, how? I don't know where I'm going. You don't know. It's games like this that make me angry because you have a great theme and you have I feel like there is a good game in here. Klein doesn't have enough to do. It means nothing to know who he is until the end but unless, oh, who are you going to trust? Well, there's 6 people around the table and maybe I can trust all of them at first because you don't even know who Klein is at the beginning. So you don't know who Klein is. So why would I not trust everybody? It's building tension where there is no tension there, and it's not even building that tension. What a goddamn waste. And it might be different if the designer was very like, hey, try this, try that, try this. But he's like, no, this is how you do it. And if you're not doing it this way, you're doing this wrong because you're stupid. He also goes on to say that no matter how smart you play, because of all of the people in a 6-player game, the maximum amount of people who can still be alive at the end is like 3 or 4 because of the crowding and the way that the game is set up. So you are forcing player elimination. So if you play a perfect game of Crimson Creek, you are still probably gonna lose. Does that come down to luck? Or does that come down to shitty game design? Survive the night, run, peek, hide, survive. Run, peek, hide, survive. No. And I'm sure if that thread was from like 2 or 3 years ago, I don't even think you can find this game anymore. Oh, you can go online, look for it if you want to. Not right for my shelf, not right for yours. Don't buy the game. At least that's the way I perceived it. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. I don't care. So welcome to Crimson Creek. Population Klein. Population no one. Because no one is going to play this game. This is not a favorable video. This is not a positive video. This is a, hey, if you're going to make a game, be prepared for people not to play it the way that you intend. That's how glitches and things happen. But also be prepared to realize that people are playing your game to have fun. They're not playing your game so you can tell them how to play your game. If you have to go on this big, long speech about how to play your game, maybe you should have made it better. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Billy. Thank you so much for joining me on this latest edition of the Hard 100. I hope you and yours are well. Peace out.